To another Stamp with Amy K YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a card with the Hello Ladybug stamp set bundle, which is one of the fun ones from the January to June mini catalog from Stampin' Up. I actually am doing a fun fold today, which is something that I don't typically do, so it's a little different for me. Hopefully y'all like it, and well, want to give it a try too. I don't do anything that's not, super easy. So all of my fun folds even are easy. So, so we're all good. All right. So this is the card we're going to be making, and it's actually got a little belly band on it. So hey, Karen and Bree. So it's got a little belly band that comes off, and then the inside is just kind of super simple, but it's a gatefold card with a belly band, which again, I consider it a fun fold because it's not just your typical side opening card, even though it's not anything that's very exciting or very difficult to do. This one, again, in particular, is super easy. It's just a little, couple of extra score lines really is all there is to it. And then a little wrapping around with designer paper, but it's real easy, and I'll show you how to do it. So I know, Karen, can you believe it? I'm kind of shocked myself. But I have like 2 fun folds that I know how to do, and this is one of the 2. So I figured I'd make a card with it. The other one's like that Z fold card. I know how to do that well too, but other than that, I'm not so good at the fun folds. So hey, Jeannie and Debbie, thanks for joining from sunny. It's sunny and beautiful here in New Jersey today too. It's kind of shockingly warm, which I'm not going to complain. I like it. So, all right. So it is a fun fold, even if it's easy. I like that. Okay. Hey, Marie, thanks for hopping on from Virginia. And Shirley is here as well from Michigan. Thanks for joining, and glad you've caught me live today. So, all right. So this is the Hello Ladybug stamp set, which is a really cute one. It's got some fun little sentiments. It's got some great images that are like 2-step stamping, which I love. That's always fun to do. It's photopolymer, so it's clear and easy to see through. Well, clear as long as you haven't made a mess of your stamps like I usually do. So hey, Jean, thanks for joining. Yeah, calm before the storm. I know I've heard we're supposed to get snow this weekend, which I'm not terribly excited about, but I guess it is what it is. We live in New Jersey after all. I can't complain too much. All right, so got the little Ladybug builder punch, which I know it's a little hard to see it with the glare on the lights this way, so it's sometimes easier to see this way. But it's a really cute little punch that punches out this little bug in the belly and the antennas, and then the little wings on the Ladybug. So that is the bundle that we're going to be playing with today. Let me set things in a spot where hopefully I can find them again when I actually need to use them. One of the other things that I used on this larger sort of circular image or circular die cut from basic white cardstock, I used the biggest one of the Hippo and Friends dies, which this is another one of my favorite die sets. If you don't have it, definitely get it. I can't honestly say, I feel a little bad, but I haven't used the actual stamp set that goes with it, which has got the little critters and things in it, which is cute, but I just haven't used it. I used the label dies tons in this set. So it's a great layering labels set. So if you don't have it, it's called Hippo and Friends. It's in the annual catalog, so get it. All right. The other thing that I used, which of course always, is my stitched rectangles dies. And the only one that I used out of this one today is the little skinny one for the sentiment. But other than that, it's punches and a little bit of layering, and it's all good to go. So, hey Sharon, thanks for joining. And Danette, I'm glad you're here as well. All right. A couple things before we get going. I have my Stuck on You Valentine ordering bonus going on through Valentine's Day. If you order $50 or greater through me, you get to pick a free adhesive with your order. So you'll send it to me. I shouldn't say you pick it with your order, because if you put it in your order, it won't be free. It'll only be free if you email me afterwards and have me order the adhesive for you. I'll order it as part of your thank you gift. So you normally get a $10 thank you gift with a $50 order from me. For this week through the 14th, you're actually going to get an adhesive in addition to the $10 thank you gift from me, and a reward point from me, and you're going to earn some free goodies from Celebration from Stampin' Up. So it's a great deal, great time to order. So hey Kim, glad you're joining. Like a simple fun fold. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only one who, I don't know, the really complex ones, I'm just like, oh, that takes too much brain power. So I love the easy ones myself. So, Hey, Jan, thanks for hopping in from Oregon as well. A couple other things that are reminders. The Waves of the Ocean stamp set bundle and product collection will be starting on March 1st. It's currently available to demonstrators to pre-order right now. So if you are not a demonstrator but want to get your hands on this beautiful collection of products early, you can always join and become a demonstrator. And then you get to pre-order. You can add this to your starter kit, or you can order it once you become a demonstrator and save your 20% discount on it. So it's a stamp set bundle, which is stamp set and dies. You can order the stamp set individually, the dies individually, and then it has this beautiful Waves of the Ocean 12 by 12 designer series paper, blue foils, specialty paper, and these rhinestone waves basic jewels, which these are stunning. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colors. I love shades of blue, and I mean, the whole suite is awesome. So again, this is going to be available to order beginning March 1st, and it will all be available while supplies last through May 2nd. The stamp set bundle and the dies and the stamp set, the bundle pricing and all that will carry forward into the next annual catalog, but the beautiful accessories will not. So make sure that you get those ordered soon before they run out. And then the last reminder is that hey Sarah, thanks for joining from France too. We've got the All Together collection available right now. And again, that is stamp set dies, designer series paper, and Stampin' blends. And again, you can order them as one big product collection. You can order them individually. You can order just the stamp set bundle, just the stamp set, just the dies, just the designer paper, and or just the markers. So you can do a whole collection of markers or order them each individually, whatever you would prefer. So, and you are right. You do get 2 free stamp sets when you join as a demonstrator. I did forget to mention that, Jean. Thank you for pointing that out. So, and helping me along. See, I get talking and then I forget what I've said and what I haven't. And anyway, so, all right. Oh, in Wadena, Minnesota. Wadena, Minnesota, I think is how you say that one. So very nice. That must be up north maybe. I'm trying to remember what part of Minnesota that's in. I grew up in Iowa, northwest Iowa, so I'm a little familiar with Minnesota, not every aspect of it, but I know it reasonably well. So, all right, so I have got some designer series paper, basic black cardstock, and a Poppy Parade card base that I have done ahead of time. The card base is just your standard issue 8.5 by 5.5, but it's scored a little differently. This one is scored at 2 1/8, and then again at 6 3/8. Now all the details are going to be on my blog for this tomorrow, and I will link it up in the description of this video once the blog post goes live, so you don't have to remember those numbers. But it's 2 1/8 and 6 3/8 are the 2 score lines for this. And then the designer series paper is actually from the Pattern Party designer series paper, which is one of the, I thought it was northern Minnesota. That was going to be my guess. So, all right. The Pattern Party designer series paper, which is in the annual catalog, and it is a host item. It's a huge pack of 48 sheets of designer series paper, and they've got great black and white designs on one side, and then lots of different colors, kind of a rainbow of colors on the other side, and lots of different patterns and things. So again, it's a free item with a host level order, which is an order of $150 or greater, or a party of $150 or greater. The measurement for the designer series paper cuts, the designer paper is cut to 1 3/4 by 5 1/8, and the basic black cardstock is cut to 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And now again, the measurements will be on the blog tomorrow, so don't stress out about writing everything down today. All right. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just adhering them together with a little Stampin' seal, trying to get it centered on the basic black cardstock. The only thing I want to be a little careful of on this, and not that it's a huge deal if you do it backwards, is just making sure that when I stick them on the card front, that I stick them on so that the lines are straight. Again, it's not the end of the world if you don't, but I just like the look of it a little bit better if I stick them on so that it's kind of looks a little more consistent across the card front. Then I'm going to take these, and I'm using Stampin' Seal to adhere this together. And I'm going to take the little piece of designer paper, and I'm going to stick it over here on the right-hand side of my card front. And again, just trying to get it centered between the score line and this edge, and then top to bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing, only on the opposite side here with the other piece of designer series paper and basic black cardstock. And again, I'm just going to make sure that because I almost stuck it down upside down, making sure that I'm sticking it down so that it's correct across the top and bottom. And the pattern hopefully will be consistent across the card front. All right, the next thing I'm doing, which is a little backwards for me, normally I do the outside of the card first and then the inside, but on this particular card, I found it a little bit easier to do the inside first and then close everything up. So I've got Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I've got the little, kind of the cute little ladybug, which is the one standing there that you can see the little happy face on. And we're just gonna stamp that in Tuxedo Black Memento ink down here on the lower right-hand corner of the basic white cardstock panel. Give that a second to hopefully we get a decent image on it, which looks like we got a reasonable one. So I'm going to call it good. Sometimes with Tuxedo Black, you may want to use, and I should have probably pulled it out, your Stamparatus, because that'll allow you to kind of restamp it a couple times if you don't get a perfect image the first time, which sometimes Tuxedo Black doesn't always cooperate for me. I don't know why. I've just re-inked the ink pad, but still sometimes it doesn't want to behave. So, and I don't know if it's me or, just the ink. And I've got Poppy Parade ink that I'm going to be stamping the little ladybug with, the little back of the ladybug. So we've got ladybug all stamped and ready to go on the inside of the card. So I've got to take some Stampin' Seal and we will stick this on the inside and then we'll close it up and put the little belly band around it. Hey Pamela, thanks for joining. Glad you're here today. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. And everybody's getting ready for the big game on the weekend. I don't even know if we're going to watch. So I haven't watched a lot of football in a little while, and I don't know. Just neither of the teams I'm terribly excited or care terribly a whole lot about. I mean, it's nice that there are teams that aren't always in the big game that are playing this weekend, but I don't necessarily care. So it doesn't matter to me really who wins or who doesn't, but it is kind of fun usually to watch the commercials. So, all right, so all I've done is I've adhered the inside together and then I've closed it up and scored it along the edges. And then, hey Donna, thanks for joining from Virginia. So, and then I'm going to take, this is a piece, it's cut to about 1 3/4 by about 10 inches. It may be a little longer or a little shorter than 10 inches, but 10 inches will work. You're going to stamp, good plan. No, that's probably what I'll be doing too, honestly. All right, so for the belly band, to try to keep it super simple, because again, simple is kind of how I roll when it comes to cards. I'm just putting my card and sort of centering it here on the little strip of designer paper. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, because it doesn't, it's all gonna be hidden anyway. And then I'm just gonna fold this over, kind of loosely folded. I'm not pulling it super tight on the card front because I want the belly band to easily be able to slip on and off the card. So I'm just taking it, wrapping it around kind of loosely, and then I'm just going to take the bone folder again and give it a good crease on either side. And again, the idea that I want is that it's going to be able to slide up and down easily, so I don't want to pull it really tight and then crease it there, because then it's going to be a lot harder to get it to move around. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and when I do this, to make sure I don't end up with the designer paper stuck to the card front, I actually put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the edge of this flap, and then I'm going to do the very same thing, hopefully I'm still on screen, on the other side of the flap. All right, it's felt pad, yeah. So I'm glad it's not just me that sometimes struggles with those. So I don't always get a perfect image, but that's okay. Like I said, that's what the Stamparatus is for. That helps me to fix it. So, all right, so I've got the adhesive stuck together, and ta-da, we have the belly band done, which is the hardest part. Generally, when I do belly bands, I put it so that the little seam is on the front, because I'm going to be covering it with the larger panel anyway, so nobody is going to know that it's there. All right, next up, I went ahead and cut this ahead of time because it wasn't anything exciting. It's just again, the Hippo and Friends die cut, and the largest one here. And I've cut it out of basic white cardstock. So, hey, Wendy, thanks for joining got all kinds of Minnesota people on today. So, all right, got Granny Apple Green ink, and this is the large leaf image from the Hello Ladybug stamp set. And just gonna ink that up, hopefully. Get a nice image on it. Okay, and then again, placement and all that doesn't necessarily matter on here because, again, the ladybug is really what you want to have look cute on it. How you stamp the rest of it doesn't necessarily matter that much. All right, so we've got our Granny Apple Green leaf on there, and then I've got a couple of flowers that I stamped in Mango Melody ink, and again, the flowers are from the Hello Ladybug stamp set. And we're just going to ink those up. Hopefully get a good good solid ink in here. And then stamp it sort of off to the side over on one side. And then same thing on the bottom, just ink it up well. And then we're going to stamp the little flowers down here off to the other side. Okay. And ta-da, I mean, that's most of the belly band all done. I know, it's very complex, and I'm sure you all are very impressed with my amazing stamping skills. So, all right, I'm going to take this and adhere it to the card front. I'm putting Stampin' Dimensionals on it, and I'm only going to put them down the center of the die cut. And again, I don't want to put anything up here or here because I don't want it stuck to the card front. I only want it stuck to the belly band so that it slides on and off the card without sticking everything together. That would be rather unfortunate if that happened. So I do cut my Stampin' Dimensionals in half, and everybody has their own opinion on it, whether they like that idea or they don't. Some love it, and some think it's silly. And you get to do what you want to do because that's stamping. So, all right, so when I lined it up, I tried to line it up so that the little dip here and the little dip here were lined up in the center, and then tried to get it somewhat centered side to side as well. All right. Yeah, I know. You're excited that I'm doing a fun fold. See? I can't help it. I just never do them. So, all right. So I've got my little ladybug here. And this is the ladybug with the little round belly and the little antennas that you punch out with the ladybug punch. The only thing you want to be a little bit aware of when you're stamping with these stamps, with the builder punches, is just making sure that the orientation of your stamp on the paper is going to work well with the punch. So if I had stamped this like this, for instance, and then went to punch it out and went, oh, now I got to hack the paper all up and try to get it to be able to punch it out. So just make sure you take a look at where your image is in relation to the punch and how it's going to fit on the paper. So I want to stamp it so that the antennas are down. And you get a blank white craft pad. Sorry, I didn't read the rest of your comment, Jean. And a blank white craft pad and refill it with the tuxedo black ink. It works. That's an awesome idea. I will have to give that a try. I've just been using this one and kind of wrestling with it and saying things that aren't very ladylike when it doesn't stamp the way I want it to. So I love that. I'll give it a try. All right, so I'm going to try this and see. I'm thinking I probably didn't get a really fantastic image on this. It's not awesome. So I'm going to try to stamp it again a second time right over the top of the first one. Again, if I don't get an amazing stamp the second time, or if I goof it up like I just might, we'll just stamp it once again in another spot, and we'll call it good. I did bring some extra white paper because I was afraid I might goof it up. It worked. Okay. Sometimes I can get them to stamp really nicely one on top of the other, and then the next time I think I've got it all lined up and I have it all stamped all sorts of crazy. So that's why the Stamparatus does actually work pretty well for these types of images. Then I'm just going to slide this into my little Ladybug Builder Punch and try to line it up so that I've got the little belly centered as well as the antennas. And then we're just going to do a punch. So I've got the ladybug done. Now I've just got the wings left to go. And again, just want to make sure that I'm stamping it so that the wings are going to easily fit into the punch. So I want to stamp it so that the wings are pointing this direction, if that makes sense. And I'm going to grab my Poppy Parade ink again and my little wing image. We're going to try to stamp it, and hopefully I may have to do an overstamping of it again with the Tuxedo Black. Hopefully I won't have to, but if I do, hopefully we'll get a good image. And if we don't, we'll just fix it or we'll keep on stamping. So, all right, so I've got the basics of the wings done here. And then there's this cute little dot image, which has got a whole bunch of little dots on it. And again, it's from the Hello Ladybug stamp set. And I've got Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we are just going to stamp it right over the top of the little ladybug wings that I'd stamped earlier, hopefully. My hands start shaking, and then so looks like I got them reasonably lined up. We'll give it another layer and hope that, again, I don't end up stamping it all sorts of crazy. Oop, almost did. I think I better quit the double stamping while I'm ahead because I got 2 in a row to work, and that's kind of an amazing feat for me. So, all right. Okay. Oh, it gives a bigger stamping area to yours. That's really smart. I'm definitely going to give that a try. So, all right. So the same thing here, just trying to line up my little ladybug wings in my punch so that they're fairly centered all the way around. And then I did take the bone folder and just did sort of a little bit of a crease, not a crease, but a little bit of a lift on the wings to give it a little bit more of a 3D effect. I don't know, I know it'll get smashed in an envelope, but it made me feel like I was, making it look a little more realistic when I was putting it together, when I had the ladybug wings lifted up just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my glue dots, and I'm going to add 2 glue dots to it, one on either side. And then we're just going to adhere that to the little ladybug that I punched out a second ago, the ladybug body. And then we're going to adhere that to the card front, and then we're almost done. We just have the sentiment really left. So again, be careful where you're putting your Stampin' Dimensionals. Yeah, I think you should. You should, Nora, pull out your Ladybug because it's way too fun. It's a really cute set and perfect for all things spring. So I'm thinking spring thoughts and trying not to think about the snow. So be careful where you put your Stampin' Dimensionals. Make sure they're kind of scooted up towards the top of your Ladybug and leave the little bottom so that it doesn't have dimensionals on it, so that you don't accidentally stick the Ladybug to the card front. Again, you want to be able to have the belly band slide up and down easily on it. All right, next up, we've got a little stamping to do and a little bit of heat embossing. So I've got Versamark ink in the sentiment from the Hello Ladybug stamp set. Just going to ink the sentiment in Versamark ink, stamp it here on Poppy Parade cardstock, and then take the white embossing powder from the Basics Embossing Powders, and we're going to sprinkle that on the image. And then we'll do a little heat embossing. So, all right. Hopefully I didn't just smear that with my finger. I don't think I did. Yay, okay, I didn't. I'm happy about that. All right, so put a little extra on here, flick off all the excess, close it up, and then turn on the heat tool. So Stampin' Up's heat tool has 2 settings on it. There's a level 1 setting for drying and a level 2 setting for heat embossing. I've turned it on to the level 2 setting since we're going to heat emboss. The level 1 setting works great if you're doing things like watercoloring and want to kind of hurry up your image to dry a little bit. The level 2 setting works great for heat embossing. So we should have sent the groundhog some Ladybug cards. Yeah, I know. He did promise 6 more weeks of winter. I was none too happy about that. So I'm hopeful that maybe he was wrong, because I heard he's only like 60% right. So I don't know. All right, so hopefully, there we go. It's starting to turn. With your heat tool, you do want to kind of keep it moving across the cardstock so that you don't accidentally burn your embossing powder. And then once it's kind of shiny and turned a little more solid white, then you know that it's done. You can overheat it and burn it, and you don't want to do that. So just heat it until it turns shiny and white. Give it a second to dry so you don't accidentally smear it before you die cut it. And then I've got these stitched rectangle dies, again, and this is the smallest one here. And we're just going to take that and cut out the sentiment. So I'm going to be off screen for 1 second while I'm die cutting over here to the side. Don't forget, celebration is ending in just a couple days. On the end of February is the end of celebration. And Stampin' Up's joining special is ending then as well. So the 2 free stamp sets with your starter kit ends on February 28th. And the free gifts with the $50 order or greater also end on the 28th. So make sure that you're getting your orders put in, and if you're wanting to join, do it now because it's a great time. So, all right, so we've got the sentiment die cut, and we're just going to use a couple of my little chopped up Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere it to the card front. Again, on this, because it's going to overhang the side of the card just a little bit, I want to make sure that I keep the Stampin' Dimensionals to the right-hand side of the die cut so that I don't accidentally stick it to the card front. And then we're just going to layer this up over here. I think about here looks, maybe I'll go down just a little bit. There we go. So you got a little peek of the designer paper here on the top too. All right, got that stuck down. And then the final piece that we have and I'll be done, because the inside's already done. Normally I do that after the fact, is the classic matte dots, which these are white, vanilla, very vanilla, basic gray, and basic black. And they're just kind of a nice, a little bit flatter embellishment, which I like. And I'm just going to add a couple of those here around the card front. Adding one next to the sentiment, one on the sentiment, and then one kind of here underneath the sentiment. Oop, and I stuck that one to my finger instead of scooting it up. All right, I think we'll scoot up and over. Yep, there we go. This one, maybe scooch it over just a little bit. Okay, stick it down and be done with it, Amy. Sometimes you just have to call it. All right, so that is it. Card's all done. It's like I said, it's a super simple fun fold, which is always my favorite thing. Everything simple is always good. And I see I've got weird light coming in here from the side too. So I don't know, I guess the sun is shining from an odd angle today. But I guess as summer approaches, we may have to change where I've got my setup at. So, all right, so that's it for the card today. So I will plan to be live on my Facebook page. It'll be on Tuesday morning Eastern time, so probably I'm thinking 10 o'clock-ish, maybe 11 o'clock Eastern time, because kids have got dentist appointments in the afternoon. So I'll be live on Facebook then, and then I'll plan to be back here live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday, back here on YouTube live. So thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate you all being here. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, all the details will be on my blog tomorrow, so you'll be able to see all the cardstock cuts and everything. And that's it. So thanks again for joining today. I appreciate you all being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy your weekend.